Start with the pledge. Look to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call of members, please.
Mayor Martin.
Here.
Trustee Champlain.
Here.
Trustee Guzenda.
Here.
Trustee Champlain.
Here.
Trustee Garrett is excused.
Need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion on the minutes? Any additions, deletions, changes? Changes? Mr. Bishop? Those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Presentation of petitions, communications, notices, general question period. Members of the community?
Are you opening the floor?
Yes, I am.
John Triller, lived in the village. I started before the meeting asking for a copy of the village minutes. Can this be something that's done for attending people to get a copy of them or to make them available at the desk?
They should be available about 2 weeks after the meeting.
Okay, but they're not on the web since March of this year.
We'll see that we can update that,
So
get that caught up. But they should be available 2 weeks after the meeting here in the office.
there's a lot of things that are spoken of throughout the minutes. I began talking before the meeting began. If you were to watch the TV series of this meeting and then independently read these minutes, you would get two different conceptions of what took place in meetings. And then the meetings here aren't verbatim, the transcripts aren't verbatim. Again, I'm asking maybe for something that can be done to make things more transparent and to put them into the system earlier rather than having to wait for March. I mean, you've got the minutes of the meeting, you've got your treasurer's report. All these things since March of this year, I mean, haven't been available until asked for public viewing. But I'm asking, can it be done? Can the website be made enhanced, brought up to date, and then these things be made more transparent?
You can.
Now that I have the minutes in hand, I had a couple of questions that weren't able to be asked or read regarding the transfer of the stone from Phil Payette.
Yep.
Who actually owned the stone? Who had the legal ownership of the stone?
That I don't know. It was located there in 1938 when that building was the village building, was the village government building.
Was the
And
stone
I don't know if there was ever a
conveyed?
transfer of property there or not. When he bought that property, I think the assumption was he assumed ownership of that stone.
So
but
the
it
assumption
should
would
have
be
been-
as private property.
It should have stayed in the village property list.
Was it conveyed to the village or gifted to the village?
It was gifted to the village
Is
by
again that,
Mr. Bayer.
and what is the village doing? I understand the village is going to give him something back in return.
We're going to put a bench up on that corner to provide a space for the walkers and stuff like that to walk on, or to visit, sit
But where's the bench going?
on the corner of Church and Main where that stone was,
On private property or on village property?
on that section of property where we removed the stone, yes.
But is it village property?
No,
So we're affording a private citizen an entity that other taxpayers aren't getting.
we should, I guess, look at that a little bit closer, yes, I agree with you.
And that was a question I would have had last month, but you
Yep,
can't interrupt
yep.
your board meetings. And then again, before you go and approve the minutes, it's we, the sitting public don't have any way of saying anything at the end of the meeting.
Mhm.
Again, just a suggestion is opening your meeting to the end. It may give you some forethought before the next meeting starts.
I will look into that other matter for you.
The benches that were previously in the pocket part and the tables and things, what happened to them? They're being replaced also?
Yes, they were unsafe.
Well, what made them unsafe?
They were cracked. The concrete or the cement was cracked. The pedestal, it was not, the tabletop was not attached, if you will. It was loose on the top of that pedestal.
Is this by weather or natural causes or vandalism?
Probably a combination of both.
So if we're having items vandalized in the village, why are we putting more?
Putting more because it's, it would be appropriate, I think, to have those in that park for people to visit. I mean, it's an open area owned by the village, providing a space for people to go down and sit, read the stones, enjoy the vista of the river.
Okay. New topic, Elm Street.
Yes.
You and I had a discussion earlier in the week, or maybe a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
regarding the truck parking in front of the Chempex.
Yes, I
Chempex
was
building.
going to mention that this evening.
Should I, well, I can't ask questions once you...
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I've lived in the village since 1989, and that's been a perpetual problem. While you've been mayor, while Ms. Garrett was mayor, the prior mayors, and I mean, it's something that has never changed. The problem is worse. And as I pointed out the problem the other day, I mean, the village used to call me when I worked for the state to come and move the trucks that are there.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's been conveyed to the people who own that building and run those different businesses, it just seems to slide through the cracks as mayors change, people change, board changes, business managers change. I think it's time that something concrete be done, I mean literally concrete, and place a concrete Jersey barrier on the right-of-way of the roadway off to the shoulder that would allow the small trucks, like the UPS and the FedEx trucks, the small trucks that can get in there without blocking the road, to get in, back, park, unload, and leave,
Mm-hmm.
physically prohibiting the big trucks. The signs that have been placed there throughout the years have all been knocked down. The shoulders of the road have been extended and extended and extended, but the last truck that I brought you up to look at had a 53-foot trailer and about a 30-foot tractor blocking both lanes and the shoulder of the road.
It was an unsafe condition there, yes.
But that is a daily, that is so reoccurring. It's just something needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
That's concrete, whether it be an ordinance, a concrete barrier, something that's going to prohibit that from happening. Not only for just the short period, but to extend it into a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a school bus, the weight of a bus can't drive off the road. The weight of a fire truck, even anybody's car,
Mhm.
can't be taken down that shoulder. But yet it continues to happen. And again, it's just been a reoccurring issue that I brought to this village before. I've walked in here with photographs that were taken routinely. And again, this time I requested your presence go up.
Mm-hmm.
But something needs to get done.
Well, I agree with you 100% on that, and one of the comments that I was going to make tonight in my report is that I asked the public to report those cases of incidents, as much as you have done. We will aggressively go after this. I have called the people who own the loading dock. They have assured me that there will be some changes in how those trucks are parked. I would have to sit with Larry and see about a concrete barrier there, how that's going to affect our snow plowing and things of that nature. But I agree with you that when that truck was parked there, when I went up with you, it was a dangerous situation. You could not get anything
And
by there.
school just opened.
And school just opened, and emergency vehicles would be severely limited in their ability to go up or down Elm Street. this will be looked at very closely. I have the assurance of the owner or the person using that dock that some changes will be made, but wanted to see if that is followed through.
Can they reposition the dock?
No, it's too close to the.
They did that a few years ago. They
Yeah.
moved the loading docks
Well,
midway up the building.
There are some other loading areas where those trucks should be loading and unloading. And that was one of the considerations that was given to me by the person using that eastern dock where the problem exists, loading those larger trucks at one of the other 6 loading bays towards the west, down Elm Street.
Because in the past, they've also showed up with a forklift, parking the tractor trailers on the short end of Walnut Street, unloading them on Walnut Street with a forklift and carrying the merchandise over to the dock. So they've displayed that have the capabilities.
Oh, there's other ways to.
They just
yeah.
don't exercise.
Yeah, there's ways that they should be doing this.
The east end of Elm Street, where it comes off of Route 11,
Yes,
is town.
yes.
There's a haphazardly placed speed sign on the sharp part of the bend. It's been at about a 45-degree angle about the last 3 years.
Okay, that'll be
Okay.
addressed.
By Department of Transportation standards, which should be in place, that sign, I mean, is oblivious to anybody making that turn. There should be a sign that precedes the speed zone of the village, saying speed zone ahead. I know that town years ago agreed to make that a 30, rather than take it from 55 to a 30, because there's no way for anybody to slow down. Again, I don't know if that was ever conveyed in writing or transferred. Town doesn't have any way of looking at it, and it's gone through several town supervisors, but
As far as I know, it's still a town property.
Correct.
so it's a town sign on the far end, and then the town property continues until it gets to where there's 3 signs on the side of the road, which is the next thing. One of them says 30 miles an hour, which is fine. The other sign says zoning laws enforced. You haven't been able to read that sign in years. I guess my request is take it down. It's a green sign with white lettering, and it's oblivious. It's just so faded and washed out, I don't see that we need it there. And then above the speed sign and the washed out sign is a sign that's applicable to tractor trailer parking and running. My suggestion is take that sign down and put it down where the tractor trailers park and run.
I'm not sure, but they probably have to be, some notice would probably have to be at where the village line begins.
You don't have to post every village ordinance where the village begins. You'd have so many signs you couldn't read them.
You know, that's true.
And I mean, just even now, the sign that says zoning laws enforced, I mean,
That could be moved.
if it moved, it doesn't need to be there, I don't think.
Yeah, but you have to have it at the village limits. So I think the best thing to do there is order new signs, put the new signs back up. If you put the zoning sign down in the middle of Elm Street, then you're not telling the person that it's at the village limits, they're just zoning in traffic.
I would assume that, I don't know what laws are. but I would assume that.
It's much like we have to have our weight limits at the, what the streets allow on the village limits.
But isn't there other signs in town that say we enforce the open container law?
There's
There's
one
not
up
one up
here
there?
on Main Street where the village, where you come into the
Again,
village.
just a frivolous sign with no enforcement.
Well, I think the enforcement would be there if we found ourselves in a necessary situation to call the sheriff's department or the state police. That would give us, I think, a little more grounds, if you will, to enforce that issue.
Reading through the minutes, and again, a lot of them, not being able to watch all the movies, there was a topic of GPS tracking devices being put in village vehicles. And that seemed to come and go, but I never saw anything that said it's done. It just seemed to be tabled.
No, if I remember correctly, at the meeting, that was decided to stop that process mainly because the vehicles that we had, the GPS systems, if they were installed, would or could possibly cause some interference with the warranty issues on the vehicles. So that was, if I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that issue was not tabled. It was decided not to go any further with it and to look at the possibility of installing cameras here in this building. But that has not, we have not acted on that.
That's all I had, thank you.
Sure. And we will look at those issues, at the signs and things, and update the website as we can, and the minutes should be available.
Can I speak a second?
Sure.
Back a month or so ago, somebody got into the village website, am I correct? And hacked it. So Aaron had to change everything and update everything and change the password down and stuff here. So that's probably why some of the stuff's not on here.
Okay. But it's up and running effectively now.
I looked on it, and Kevin's right, since March, but
Okay.
if she got them, I don't know.
All right. So we'll get it up to date. We'll get it caught up. Okay, very good. Thank you. Anything else?
I just had one question. I'm Mark Matty, I live right over here on Main Street.
Sure.
I'm just curious as to why so many trucks, semis, use Main Street instead of the expressway. I don't understand why, but I can sit in my house and there's a lot of them that go by. It doesn't seem to make any sense to me, no matter which way they're going, why they get off the expressway up here at Peterbilt and then use Main Street, or use Main Street to go up to the expressway to go to Canada. I don't understand it unless there's something that is in the truckers' logs or times or whatever, but it seems to me that there's an awful lot of trucks that go through here, and I was just wondering if anybody knew why.
There is a lot of trailer trucks going through here. State highway, a lot of them are making deliveries up on that end, and I agree with you that they should be using the other exit to come back into the village.
Even if they're making deliveries up at the other end, there's an entrance to the expressway,
Yes.
43.
Yes.
And if they're coming, if they get off down here at 42, why would they want to come up Main Street? I don't understand what the purpose
I would
is.
assume a large number, if you don't
Okay.
mind, a large number are probably coming from the east, from Vermont, from coming up 11, and making this shorter route to get either to Peterbilt or over to the three-point.
That would avoid my house, I'm over here.
Yeah.
If they come down Elm Street and go over the bridge,
No, they shouldn't be using Elm Street for
Yeah,
a thoroughfare.
that's the only
That is,
shortcut.
there's a high volume of thoroughfare trucks,
Yeah,
and it's getting.
they do, they shouldn't be.
It was just a curiosity question, because I don't understand it. There's got to be a reason for it, and I was just curious if anybody knew
Well,
why.
and it seems to be getting worse as the days go on, and they're constantly downshifting right in the village,
Oh, that's bad too.
and they're using excessive speed. And we've got children in the area.
I understand your concern, yeah.
It is a state highway. and it
I
is-
wouldn't even know who to ask. I mean, it's just, I don't know if it's their preference or,
Yeah, I would say it's preference in a lot of cases. It's a lot shorter for someone that wants to go over to Champlain Pete and fuel up if they're coming up 11, to take this state highway through the village and to get on the, take two more lights, get onto the thruway, go down, take an exit and backtrack back up. I know it's only a quarter mile, but I'm sure that's the reason why they're doing it.
thank you.
Sure. Anything else? Mr. Tetro is excused tonight. He has a conflicting meeting. You have been copied with a letter from Earth Science Engineering about a property that we talked about at our last meeting. The engineers came in and visited the reference site at the request of Mr. Tetro. 92 Church Street. The building was found, in their opinion, to be in a significant state of disrepair. Our next role or function here is to send a letter to the owner informing him of this study and the results of this study, and give him the opportunity to bring his own engineers in to look at it and to dispute, if they want, to dispute what Mr. Ferris's or Earth Science Engineering's study has found for that building. And as I said, it was found in a significant state of disrepair, so we will go along and follow the steps as we must, send the owner a letter, and hope that we get a quick reply so that we can progress with whatever we're going to do with this building to make sure that it is either taken down or is repaired so that it is made safe for the neighbors. So with this, we have no board action, but we will send a letter to the owner and go from there. I guess my report. I would like to thank everyone who contributed, participated in the very successful Village Fest held on August 20th. There was a lot of traffic in the village that day with the Champlain Telephone Company and the town-wide garage sale bringing many people into the village. The community park rededication was a very special event with new flags being raised and the placement of the 1938 stone and plaque with the time capsule, which is to remain unopened until 2038. There were many who contributed their products, their services, and their time to make the day memorable to those attending. The list of donators is very long, and letters of appreciation have been sent out thanking each for helping to make this a great day for the village of Champlain. I would like to acknowledge Larry and the DPW crew for their efforts behind the scenes to make the day happen, installing the new benches and seats in the community park and the new bench aforementioned on the corner of Church and Main Street for people walking in the village to enjoy. I would especially like to thank Donna and Juanita for all they did, keeping me sane to make the day so successful. Thanks to you all. Just some general information here. We will be reading water meters beginning next week. As mentioned before in our community discussions, large trucks are not to be parked so that they block Elm Street. Traffic and emergency vehicles must be able to use Elm Street in a safe, orderly manner. I'm asking that residents observing this type of behavior to call the village office so that we may take appropriate legal action to ensure that this does not occur or continue to occur. Rabies clinics are scheduled throughout the county for dogs, cats, and ferrets. The closest to us, Rouse's Point Fire Station on September 22nd, and Moore's Fire Station on October 16th. The village will continue to pick up the debris left by Tropical Storm Irene. Bags and small branches will be removed as time allows to the Elm Street composting site. We will be announcing a pickup day, a fall pickup day later for lawn debris. Hydrant flushing will be the week of October 17th. Expect some discoloration for a couple days after the hydrants have been cleared. If the problem exists, discoloration exists beyond that, please call the village office and let us know so that we can take whatever measures we need to take. And that's what I have. That's what I have for a report tonight. Thank you. Report from the trustees. Trustee Kim Trombley.
I just wanted to make a comment on the Village Fest. Mayor Martin, what a nice job you did that day in the park. It was well attended. It was so nice to see our Legionnaires there raising the flags and village residents enjoying that. And also I wanted to make mention to Larry, what a nice article in the paper regarding receiving your plaque for your years of service. It was very nice.
Thank you. Trustee Grisenda.
Similar, also with the Village Fest, excellent time, it was great. Everybody who participated helped and enjoyed everything. It was a very fun day. We were blessed with great weather, it was excellent. I'd also just like to say thanks to the folks, the kids that had a great time that participated in the race. That was really something different, exciting, and really kind of kicked off the day in a great spirit. So they definitely had a lot of fun, and it was definitely fun being part of the whole festival. Hopefully we can do it again come next summer.
Couple of years. Please. Okay. Thanks, Don. Trustee Thomas Trombley.
Yes, I don't have a lot of business to report tonight, but in regards to the Village Fest, I wanted to thank the mayor for all the work he put into it. I know there's a lot of organizations, and there's a lot of other people as well. And I was unable to attend, but from what I've heard from folks that did attend and the trustees, it was a nice day. It was a nice job. And I have a public service announcement for October. I'll probably bring this up again at next month's meeting, but there'll be a food drive held at Price Chopper. The Knights of Columbus will be running the drive October 14th through October 17th, and that's to benefit the local food shelves in this area, primarily the Moore's Wesleyan food shelf, which covers everything from Rouse's Point to Ellenburg. So please try to attend and support that cause, because they're in great need this year. They've lost some additional state funding, and anything we can do to help them would be very appreciated. That's all I have.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Don. Welcome. Your report, please.
Ditto to everybody, and thank you. The feedback from the community band has been phenomenal for the community day. It's always nice when you do things and you pull everybody together. Same with the movie night that St. Mary's held. There was a great turnout. A lot of kids were there. It was kind of funny because we were outside, then we had to move it in, then we were outside, we moved it out, and God cleared the sky, so it was great. It was really kind of neat to see such a huge screen on the property. It was really quite fun. Another activity for everybody that's going to be back in Champlain is bingo. Woohoo! Tonight, St. Mary's started 6 minutes ago. But the first Monday of the month, bingo has returned. So if people are looking for things to do throughout the year, we'll play bingo. Coming up in October, I have not chosen the date yet, so I'll have it ready for next month's meeting. But we will have another Halloween costume party for the kids that will be held at St. Mary's on Saturday, whichever the Saturday before Halloween is, and I apologize, I left my planner. Is it 20th? 29th. Okay, so Saturday the 29th will be the costume party. We'll have it from 11 a.m. until 12:30. The kids will come and they'll parade. We'll have donuts and little prizes for them. So it's a good time, and we have a semi-decent turnout. Hopefully we'll get more kids, so just pass the word. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Revenues expenditures report for July.
Say, no,
No?
we have to report expenditures for August.
Okay. This is July.
Here for August.
Okay. Need a motion to pay the warrant?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
questions.
No add-ons this one?
No, we had to do it on Friday because Don was on vacation. So
Everything's there.
everything's there.
Everything is there. Okay, very good. Any discussion? Need a roll call vote for this?
Mayor Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Trombley,
Aye.
Trustee Gisenda,
Aye.
Trustee Trombley,
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
You've all been copied with the detail of the expenditures, water, wastewater, and the general fund. Any questions for Juanita on those? In very good shape for this time of the year.
And I like the copying on both sides of the paper, thank you.
Yeah, you
Very
would.
nice. Insert. That was very nice.
So the report of the superintendent, please.
Everybody's been copied with the work log for last month. You may have mentioned that we're going to be reading water meters. And I have a few places where I'll put some asphalt or good our sand. That's all mixed up probably this month, next month. Yeah, everybody go there. See a lot of snow.
It'll be a nice fall, it's supposed to be a very nice fall.
Yeah.
That's good. And for spring.
And you said that the price of salt is down this year?
Yes, the salt was 72 something last year, and it's down in the 60s.
It's low, it's been a while.
Yes.
And the town will start hauling sand to
Right
us?
now they're paving. When they start hauling sand, I'm gonna call them and start bringing the salt so we can stockpile it. And we went down to half our salt quality that we used, the quantity I mean, with the new salt sheds, so.
The shed, yeah.
And we probably still had 20 ton left from last year.
Yeah, we have a lot up there. That's great.
Well, that just gives us an idea of how much money we're saving by putting up that building. Because we don't lose our salt every year because
Into the
of
ground.
2 years ago, we bought 250 ton of salt.
leaching out of the sand bin.
We're down to
And we
20.
can mix it so that it's a better quality on the streets.
And last year we bought 73 ton.
Okay,
Good, good.
anything else for Larry?
Any reactions to the backflow preventers or?
I'm getting paperwork back. We got 45 days now, but then we'll proceed from there. But all the businesses got their letters, and there's a penalty after 45 days, so. If you got any questions, you can call me at the office here. A lot of them have them, they just need to be inspected and certified. That's mandated through the health department, so, under the law.
Getting some positive comments on the sidewalk replacement as well.
Yes.
Done a good job on that throughout the village. Okay, anything else, Blair? Clerk, read the correspondence, please.
Various invoices for property maintenance, list of thank you letters sent to Village Fest participants and donors, correspondence from Thomas Moores regarding Altona Correctional Facility, correspondence from New York State Attorney General's Office in Plattsburgh regarding contractors and insurance claim relative to Hurricane Irene.
Interesting letter to the editor today about just that issue about someone who had a tree that needed to be cut up, and she was given I believe it was a $2,000 estimate to remove a tree from her property, only to have NYSEG come along and cut it for free. So, be aware of what's out there. Don't be the victim of fraud because somebody's trying to make a quick and easy buck. Editorial for the evening. Okay, full business, GSA meter, there's been no movement there. We're waiting for the town to come up with their water district for that end of, for the north end of the village. Deal with the east and the west service road, and then that issue will be addressed. Under new business, we need to change the October board meeting. The following Monday, I believe, is the 17th. board meeting is scheduled for the 11th, am I right? October 11th, and that is
The 11th
Columbus Day. So do we want to move it to the next Monday?
Yeah.
Would it be the 18th or the 17th?
The 18th.
18th.
Monday is the 17th.
Monday's 17th.
And it was originally the 10th, apparently.
I was thinking of you guys going to
Okay.
Oxford.
Yeah, it was originally
The
the
11th
That's-
is what Pot's in.
That's the 11th, yeah.
State.
The 12th you go to Oxford. It's Tuesday.
October 11th, Tuesday.
Yes. The 10th is Monday, October 11th is Tuesday.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay,
I'd rather move to the 17th.
yes, need a motion?
I'll make a motion to change October's meeting from the 10th to the 17th.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need board approval for local government conference in Potsdam. We have sent out a notice to the planning boards, the zoning boards, the village board, to try to come up with a number so that we can get our registration in early to save ourselves some money here. It is a very good conference. It has a little bit of everything for everyone: code enforcement, development, planning. So if you're interested, we need to have this. We need to have this in by October 2nd. So let Juanita or Donna know, planning, zoning, and the village board, if you are interested in going. It's a very worthwhile day. You take away a wealth of information from this, at least the last couple that I've gone to. So please let us know here in the village office as soon as possible if you wish to attend. We have a discussion issue with some lights around Kimplex that are not functional. They are costing the village money every month for a service fee. Larry, would you mind jumping in here and explaining?
What it is, when the Harris Graphics was on Walnut Street, they had 13 lights around the back of there. Within the years, them lights got transferred over to the village. So now we get billed for 13 lights. They were disconnected because the wires in the ground, and they were unsafe. So I called them to find out how come they were charging us for it, because they were disconnected. But it's a delivery fee that's there. For every light that's there, is so much. So what I would recommend is that we keep one light on the corner of Cherry Street, one at the intersection of Pelham and Walnut, and one over at the other intersection, and take the rest down.
And do we physically take them down?
They belong to the village.
Okay. And you guys can do that?
Us and I will get a hold of NICEAG to see if they can help us.
I mean, they haven't been on,
Yeah, because you have a rental for each pole, right?
Yes.
they haven't been on in quite a while, so, I mean, it's just costing
Yeah,
the village.
How long have they been off?
They've probably been off for 12 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So just to let the board know that we are exploring that issue, and if it's possible, I'd like to have them removed.
Probably a little longer than 12 years, because when they put the water line into the World Warehouse building, they hit the wires.
So how did you discover we were still being charged for all this? Was this in the audit?
Computalis came to the village,
Uh-huh.
did an audit of all their lights, and then they called and wanted to know where our street lights were, how they run, because we're charged for 13 lights. And then Larry discussed it with them, where they were, and
It's $28 a month, that's what it comes out to. But $28, $338 a year.
I guess it's being wasted.
Umpteen years?
So that we may be able to recover something from them by
Yeah,
selling, getting rid of the.
They're
the
tall
poles
aluminum
themselves.
poles with an arch on them, so I'm sure somebody, parking lot or somebody would be,
Mhm.
will put them the sale of a bid lot, that's all. Get some more money back.
Any other discussion there? My last item under new business, and Juanita just spoke about the Computel consultants that we approved at the last board meeting. They've requested some streetlight information. And where do we go from there?
We have to wait to get their report. They're investigating all the bills and reviewing them all.
Okay. And they
Because
will-
I have sent them like all the account numbers, and then there's another number on there so they can access that information. And they work from that.
And they'll go through everything, the electrical and the cable and
Mhm.
everything that we, here in the village, that we have to pay for. Okay. Anything else for the board?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Need a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 7:50. Thank you.
That
And thank you folks for attending.
Thank you.
10 o'clock in the middle of the day.
Turn that around.
It's fine. I'm trying to find that sheet. We have like